Hey guys, I'm your host, Nick Beardsley, and I want to welcome you back to the Dear Untitled podcast, episode 47. Today, I sat down with a few members of the band Bouquet, Bailey, Jared, and Nick, to discuss their start back in the midst of the pandemic and their journey since, then on to the very cusp of their upcoming EP release, Feel in Color. We also dig into their perspective of their work and thoughts about letting it organically spread and grow versus aggressively promoting it, and a lot more inside. Some fun history and trivia for followers of Dear Untitled and really everyone else. I've known Bouquet's vocalist Nick Booth since Dear Untitled started in 2018 with his band Avoid, featuring them on the very first articles that I think that I ever wrote, honestly. It was their farewell album and tour, and it was a really cool experience to interview him then, granted via email. So, this is a kind of a full circle event, and he and I have kept in touch, and it's about time that I got him as well as his bandmates for Bouquet on the podcast. It has been a long time coming, and I'm very excited to finally introduce everyone to him in this form. For those of you who have been here since 2018 and 2019 when the podcast started, huge shout out. We appreciate you. That all said, settle in to feel something and listen to my conversation with Bouquet on episode 47. All right, so I guess what we'll probably do, easiest is just have you guys introduce yourselves, what role you are in the band, and we'll go from there. So if we want to start with Bailey.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Bailey. I play drums. Oh man, how long have I been playing with you guys? Like 2.5 years now, so not
Almost
that
exactly
long.
2 years.
Wow.
Exactly 2 years. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
official.
Right. Yeah. So it still feels really new to me. I don't know, but like also feel like I've been doing it for forever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing drums?
Oh man, I grew up playing drums. My dad plays drums, so like, there was always at least two drum kits in the house growing up, and yeah, I don't have a memory of not playing drums. So
Dude, came out the womb rocking.
Right.
basically, yeah.
It was the pots and pans and then the drums. Yeah.
If there's a picture of me banging on pots and pans somewhere at my parents' house,
Love that.
I'll have to try to find it.
Jared?
Yeah, my name is Jared. I play guitar in Bouquet. I joined very shortly after the band formed. It was like September of 2020 when I had my first like practice with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. 2020, what a year.
crazy.
What a year.
And
Best year
Nick.
of my life.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, dude, loved it. I'm Nick. I play in Bouquet. I started it with Elijah. He's not here.
Rip.
What's up, dude?
What's up? I'm just excited. This is so cool. This is probably a question oriented for Nick, more so the founding. Like rewind all the way back to, Bouquet came out like really on what, mid to the heels of COVID. I mean, the formal assemblance, and I mean the emotions and everything that you had in the Cardinal EP, obviously were a lot of personal experiences and such. Did Bouquet kind of like formulate out of another need to express just that music thing, or was it a, hey, I need to just continue music, so this is it?
Um, Sort of both. So like Void broke up in 2018. And I started playing with Ghostkey after that, but I was just kind of a fill-in. I was like in the band, but I didn't write music. I was just kind of playing live, which was like nice and fun, but yeah, I didn't really get the like fulfillment out of it. So Elijah and I had started writing like around the time I started joining, but we didn't really take it too seriously. And then 2020 didn't have a lot else to do, so we just kind of
Got bored.
Locked in on that. Yeah, literally, pretty much.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, and then once I started kind of writing stuff again, then I was like, oh, this is what I like to do more than anything else in music. So haven't stopped.
Right. I love that. I appreciate that. I think the world appreciates that, truly. So I guess with everyone kind of involved, what were the initial kind of inspirations that you drew from? Obviously, you've been involved in this scene, this genre, with a lot of weight to the music. Where do you guys tend to draw your musical inspirations from?
I guess I came up listening to a lot of like pop punk and hardcore, in high school and after, and then got into like the dreamy shoegazy stuff, dip my toes in here and there to a lot of different things in that realm. Never got like super deep or obsessed with like any one thing, just kind of pulled from a lot of different sources. A lot of the stuff that I write for the band now, yeah, I guess gets pulled from like bands like Casey or like Pianos Become the Teeth.
Yep.
Some Title Fight, a little bit of Citizen, just like all these like really cool like alternative bands, and try to pull from a wide variety so we don't sound like any single one of those bands.
Yeah.
Like instrumentally anyway.
Well, yeah, you got to steal a riff from one and then, a chorus from another and
and then mix it from another thing.
Yeah. Correct, yes. How about you, Bailey?
Kind of all over the place. I grew up drumming in a lot of churches, so I'm I like drumming with a lot of ambience and like big cymbals and like washy like overtones. So like I kind of come from that, and then also like when I was learning drums, my favorite stuff to play was like Paramore and like stuff like that. So like the fast pop punk, the faster the fills, the better kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I still like pull like that feel and like that stuff. And then lately I've been into like heavier like deathcore stuff. So it's kind of a mash of all of that.
Which is perfect for what we've been writing lately too.
Exactly, yeah.
Deathcore,
yeah. Out really
I'm
well.
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, not so much that, but I still pull some fills and stuff from that feel.
That's really neat.
Yeah. So a little bit of everything.
It's always intriguing to me to kind of get the, do you listen to the genre that you play, or do you like, listen to something completely different? And obviously deathcore is not really Bouquet, but it could be.
But there's definitely like that influence, at least in like some of the drum parts I've been coming up with.
Yeah. The technicality almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Nick?
Yeah. I mean, I probably nowadays listen to like our genre of music less than I used to.
Yeah.
Just I've been in it for a while, baby,
You've heard it all.
Yeah, every song that's ever come out, actually.
Yeah. Name 3 of them.
Nope. I'm a fake fucking fan, dude.
Hell yeah.
For real, dude.
I got all these vinyls. Fake. Yep.
Dude, I've heard music. Okay? I know what it is.
Billie Eilish? Yeah. Oh,
just music?
Yeah. Yeah, music in general. Oh, man.
Is this music? No, nothing's playing right now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
Oh, that's just the ringing in my ears. Okay.
What if you like never listen to music, but you still end up with tinnitus? Just worse than fucking both worlds. Don't even get the joy of music with it.
I love that.
I don't know. I pull from a lot of stuff. It's hard to I don't really think about it when I'm doing it a lot of the time, I guess. But like there's vocal styles and stuff I definitely just like rip off of people over time. So like a lot of Speed's one of my favorite bands. So if there's ever I got that delivery thing sometimes. I listen to like a lot of melodic hardcore and stuff. So when I scream, that's usually generally in that vein, rather than like I'm not ripping out sick lows in a lot of Bouquet songs yet. So never know. You don't know what could happen.
You're right. I mean, it's your band, so
Bailey said we're making a
collectively, your
deathcore
band.
album. So
Yeah, that's what I just heard. So everyone, you heard it here first. Deathcore Bouquet.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's ever kind of rotating, but yeah, just whatever like makes me feel something, I guess.
Okay, so your debut was Cardinal, the EP, and again, we kind of touched on it. Very packed full of emotions and a great story. I mean, just all through. Um, do you feel like that you, as a band, kind of felt that that was an establishing of the sound that you wanted to chase? And kind of like the impact you wanted to make looking back on it?
I think so. I think a good foundation to start on at least. You can kind of tell in it where like trying some stuff out, but it like makes sense still.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, personally, I felt like I think it was a good way to start and like introduce ourselves. Definitely. I don't know how Jared feels like about it, but
Yeah, I mean, Nick said it really well. It was a really good foundation to start on, instrumentally, um, as well as vocally. But I think like with my mind being on the instrumentals a lot, I can see where there's room for growth or expansion from just the ideas that are on there already, as well as introducing new ideas for other future releases as well.
Yeah.
It was a really great launching off point.
Oh, absolutely. Um, do you feel that you're like kind of, especially with that being out for a couple of years now, right? Do you feel that fans have kind of resonated with that and there might be an expectation with the new release coming up of hey, the age old like, oh, don't change your sound, man.
I think about it a lot. I've been obsessively listening to this new EP for like 2 years now. I started pre-production for this in March of 2023.
Holy.
Started the demoing process and getting everything kind of like fleshed out. And from that to our original studio session in June of 2023, we had to rework a lot of stuff and like to get it to a point where we were really happy with it. We finally got it there very recently. Um, but yeah, I think about that a lot. I hope that people like it. Um, the more that I listen to it, the more that I think people will like it and maybe be thrown off by, some things on it.
Yeah.
Specifically, like there's some in the 3 songs that are unreleased. There's some song structure things in there that might raise people's eyebrows in a good way a bit.
Yeah.
Um, there's one song with a very, very typical structure, and then there's one that just kind of flows from one part into the next up to the end of it. But the EP works really well cohesively when listened to front to back, in my opinion.
I agree.
So
and
I hope people enjoy the experience of it.
yeah, those are my favorite compositions, I would say. Like I am an album story enjoyer, right?
Me
Like
too, big time.
the composition of that is like I want to sit down and listen to 40 minutes or whatever of someone putting their heart on their sleeve rather than single. It just
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel for you guys, like, to kind of be sitting on music that long too? Because obviously it's all being produced. It's got to, well, one, it's got to suck. You just got to be like, can I get this out already?
They brought a fucking
Dude.
song.
Yeah, it was not
Dude,
fun.
yeah, unreal.
Just getting messages and comments constantly like, where's the new music? I worry that people just kind of got bored.
Dude, I think about that a lot because
Yeah.
it kind of ties in with the previous question, but just like this is all like the most successful like band any of us have been in, so I don't want to fuck that up. And
Yeah.
so but like the second release is one thing, but also just the situation we've kind of been stuck in, like with having to rework so much. There's like a lot of people like weekly are just like, hey, when something new coming out, and like Like, I hope so too, bud.
Yeah. We've been
That's all I
saying
can
soon
say.
for quite a while.
Big things coming
big
soon,
things
baby.
coming soon.
God,
Just don't
no.
announce.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I remember when we were first promoting Lovely Things, the comments fucking cracked me up, but also like in a way, it didn't make me feel bad, but it made me feel some type of way where somebody was in the comments just feral, like ready for it. And it was very funny, but also just like, I'm so sorry we made you wait this long.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. I mean, it's a great problem to have. Problem. I say problem as if it's a
Right.
bad thing, but like to have people reaching out to you, like there are bands who will kill for that. You know, like
It's yeah, absolutely.
It's super affirming too, just because like we've each individually like mentioned it to each other before, but just like that amount of time, you're just anticipating people to not care anymore because there's so many
yeah,
other bands. So that makes me feel like we must have had some sort of impact on a lot of, the people that are reaching out to us like that with the previous releases.
yeah.
Because yeah, like Cardinal's 4 turns 4 in September. So like we've put out 3 songs total since then. And so
Yeah, and it's also tough because I see other bands who either started after us or got a lot of momentum after us, and I'm just like, man, I wish that we could have rode some of that like from the jump, but
Yeah.
we went through such a weird transition period and a lot of hardship for each of us individually that it made things difficult.
Yeah.
But we got back on the wagon when it came to like writing and finishing out this EP, getting all that done over the last like couple years, but especially over the last like year or so, like really like trying to get it done. Also, low key, we have like 10 finished songs for an album.
yeah,
Also, as well as a bunch of other unfinished ideas. So we've been cooking. We've been
I
doing
was
a lot.
gonna say you've been cooking. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've been doing a lot of, not just the EP, but we've been doing a lot of other stuff like behind the
we
scenes.
we don't want the second wait to be anywhere near as long as
No,
Hell
this
yeah.
one was.
yeah,
So
not even close.
Is it like a weird feeling? Obviously, you are in fact working on or have worked on new. Is it weird to feel like, hey, this EP was recorded, or we put songs down. Obviously, you reworked them, but like, is there a concern that it almost feels it might be outdated? Like
for me,
in the back of your head, I really hope I'm like not poking at anxieties here. I really am not trying to. I'm just
no,
No,
you're,
it's a good
the
question.
no, you're
whole
good.
music process just astounds me because I know like I talked to Dead Seven on the podcast a while back and they're like, oh yeah, we got signed and we had this EP in the mix since like a year and a half ago. I was like, but it still sounds brand new. It's like if it's
Yeah.
very current, it's just the whole process.
At least for me, it's not super weird. It does feel like there was a period where I was just like, man, I'm really tired of like listening back to this. So I've started enjoying it again just because it was
Yeah.
like it became a task for a little
Well,
while.
now that we have the finished product in our hand, we've had it for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
We can like actually
that
enjoy the product of it instead of being
Yeah.
like, oh, we have to change this or we have to work on this.
This
or
is gonna
this might
develop
have
over
to change.
time.
It's like it's done
Yeah.
now, it's recorded, it's finished. Nothing else is gonna change.
Right.
Now it's now we can actually appreciate for what it is.
In that
Yeah.
sense, it feels fresh to me, even though these songs are 2-3 years old. Like, man, we wrote In the Creek in like from a
February 23 is when we recorded it.
well, we recorded it. I made the OG demo for it early 2022 and then made the most recent version of the demo in like May of 2022. So that song by itself has been out for like in the works for a while. Lovely Things, I wrote that in October of 2022.
Wild.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's honestly amazing. But yeah, like you said, it's gotta feel like obviously with music it's an art form, right? Like you have to kind of call stop on the creative process at some point. So 100%. Like the fact that you can now look at this and it's been packaged and you've been enjoying it of like, hey, here's the chapter I was. Even looking back at Cardinal, it's like I put this out, I can do better or do different. You have this, it's coming out and you have been doing better. You have, or more, I should say. Not better, not saying it's just a consecutive lineup of good, but it probably will be.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, I feel like I by myself have developed a lot in terms of my songwriting. You know, after these songs have been written for a very long time, and
Yeah.
not a whole lot. You know, like structurally changed with the songs, like little pieces here and there, but we did a lot of re-recording for like the vocals, and we completely re-recorded the title track too because it needed a revamp. Which will be Bailey's
we
drum
added a
debut
lot.
on the like for the band as well.
Is it
which
really?
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we've all developed over the last like couple years in terms of like how we write like our individual styles. So it's cool to have that like snapshot of this thing that we made, and then we're just kind of moving forward with
Yeah,
the new stuff we've been working on.
that's cool.
I will say, uh, I was a little afraid of like because it's been so long. Like when I went to listen back, I was like, man, I hope nothing I wrote about I feel differently about now. But
That's valid.
unfortunately or unfortunately, all still applies. So
It does. It does.
yeah, but that was like the main thing where I was like, man, I don't. There's something weird about like writing lyrics and then looking back years later and you're like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was on about. So it's like
I don't even remember that
makes me feel,
relationship, bro.
yeah, that makes me feel good. I'm not like regretful over that or anything, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so you guys have been uh all been part of and in and out of different local bands, obviously, before Bouquet. Um as Bouquet collective, you know, is there kind of a goal with everyone, or like do you guys have your sights set on anything in particular, or you're just like, hey man, I'm here to have a good time, write music, and play some shows? Could be both.
I think that's always like the fundamental goal for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
I feel like that has to be the base. Otherwise, I feel like we probably would have just, with the hardships we've had, would have just broken up already in the midst
Yeah,
of that. So
yeah,
Valid.
100%.
I feel like that's
Screw you
the goal.
guys, I quit. Yeah.
We want to get it to the point where I mean we can reliably do it for, you know, like do it full time basically, and that takes a lot of work and effort, and it takes the business side of things to like get it done. You know, it's not
Yeah.
like we're all able to just kind of uproot and go live in a van for, you know, hundreds of days of the year because you know
Yeah.
having jobs and bills to pay and stuff. But like eventually, yeah, the goal would be to reach a larger audience and try to like really do it, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No question. I was gonna ask for, I mean, for the audience who doesn't know, how does the writing process work? Because I guess I'm making kind of like some connections in my own head, and you've kind of like hinted so far, but you know, knowing the backstory a little bit more of who the band is, how does that process come about? You know, what does instrumentals come on paper, or does, you know, Nick get sad and just bring lyrics and you know, it happens?
I think from what I understand, Nick just has like a stockpile of things that he pulls from,
I'd believe that.
like
Yeah.
lines that he's written. Is that correct?
Some of the time. So like if I'm sent something, I'll usually try to sit down and just make something new. But I have a lot of ideas that I'll keep like stored if I like don't have inspiration or something, or if I'm like, oh, this sounded cool, maybe I can apply this because it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but usually it's some form of instrumental first, whether it's
Yeah.
like, even if it's just guitar, like whatever. I'm usually last.
Yeah, so from the start, I think, you know, when I joined the band, they had ideas already established, and there are some things that Elijah had demoed out, you know, on fucking GarageBand on his phone. Can we swear on this?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
sure we
Please
can.
do. God damn it.
He fucking had that shit demoed out like fuck on his phone for it, and
Mhm.
and so when I joined the band, I had like 60% completed songs to kind of work with and like throw my parts into.
Got it.
But lately, the more that I've been writing for the band, I'll come up with a instrumental idea, and either I will completely expand on it myself and then send it to the band and be like, hey, what do we want to do here? Do we want to change this or this or this? Or we've also been doing Zoom writing calls where I'll start with an idea and then all of us expand on it together, because we can't all be in the same room.
Yeah.
Once a week, unfortunately, because we're all spread out. So Zoom and technology has made it so I can record that stuff in real time and they can hear it and add to it.
Yeah, that's been super useful. Cardinal was like just pretty much jamming for the most part.
Yeah.
We're able to be in the same place, but now with us just being in separate places, we don't really have much of a choice. But yeah, I think it's kind of changed since we started. So like, I think we're a little more efficient now, which is hilarious to say after this whole waiting process. But I think we're way more efficient now with how we write.
It already sounds like it if you have that many songs kind of just in the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a
And, like-
Dropbox just full of stuff.
And like something I've appreciate a lot too about the band is like everybody can just throw stuff in. So like there's not on this EP, but like the unreleased stuff Jared's talking about, like there's a song that I just like did, had an acoustic demo, and like we built on that. There's stuff where like in the past Elijah's written a bunch, like Jared's written a bunch. Like Bailey will actually like update drums for demos and stuff. So like I know what he's gonna play, which helps me a lot, right? Because like the first EP, I didn't track any vocals for it, so like well, I guess we did glisten, I think, but like nobody knew what I was doing, so I could have just absolutely sucked. I could have butchered that whole thing. So
it ended up making all of those songs for me, which
it works out.
Killed it.
The bow.
And that's why they call me One Take Nick.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, One Take Nick. Yeah.
Well, it's funny, the acoustic song that you were talking about also just happened to fit with a couple other songs that I wrote. So like there's gonna be callbacks between each of those songs instrumentally and maybe vocally, depending on like how we kind of work things through. But there's 3 tracks on this newer unreleased stuff that just happen to work really well together because Nick picked up an acoustic guitar in his bathroom and just started going at it.
He does. Tends to
that
do that.
one I was just feeling sad. So.
Yeah.
At least he's honest, Well, so you're talking about the new, so that's not even the new. That's the new.
No, we can talk about the new.
Right. Yeah.
I'm on some new shit you can't even fathom.
Bro, you are 2 levels ahead.
I'm on another level, dude.
I'm on a new level.
Like 9,000, something like that, right?
Like 9,006.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm over it. Yeah.
And Bailey, not to keep the drummer in the back here. Do you feel that in the writing process, like you were saying, like kind of incorporating different styles and things, like that you really get to inject some life into that, like in this, because obviously it's not deathcore, it's not that type of aggression, it's a different genre. Do you feel that you can express kind of like that skill pretty well in here?
I definitely think so, because like I don't know, just like in the Zoom calls, like we can like add different sections, or I'll like send songs like, oh, I want to write something like this, or like I really like this section of this song, let's do something like that. I think I remember one time I told Jared, I was like, I want you to write something where I can do like a halftime China breakdown, and then like 2 weeks later he's like, here it is.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah, last song on the working album, there's a breakdown in it with a China symbol. It's gonna be sick.
Let's go. Where's the pit?
And then I don't know, it's really cool because when I get a demo like from Jared, it's like it's got fully fleshed out drums in it, and it really gives me a like good bass to start on. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm not really gonna change a thing, I'm just gonna add my style onto it.
Yeah,
because Jared kills it every time, and like I don't feel the need to rewrite the parts, because like it's like that's what I would have played and that's what fits the song.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna add some fills and some styles, like my personal style to it.
that's cool.
So yeah.
In talking
putting some stank on it.
Some stank.
You got it.
We have kill it every time Jared and one take Nick. So we got to come up with a Bailey. We'll
Bailey
get there.
punching Feist.
Well, yeah, I believe in you guys.
What was that, Jared?
I said Bailey punching Feist.
Bailey punch.
Bailey the Stank.
Yeah, he's put the
The
stink on.
Stank.
Okay.
Hey everyone, this is Dear Untitled. I'm joined by the Stank.
It's
The
better
one and
than
only.
punching, I think.
It also just sounds like somebody who's really into Hoobastank, like talks to their friends. They're not like, yo, you going to the Stank show?
You going to the stank show later?
You gonna go see the Stank with me, dude?
Bro, you didn't hear Stank's coming to town.
Who's getting their stank on tonight?
Yeah.
I'm in that thing, stinking it up. I'm sorry, Bailey.
Oh, this is great.
I know that show smelled crazy.
Wait, that's every show.
That show smelled like Hooba.
Holy shit. I don't know if I can release any of the last minute.
Do it, I dare you.
I will. Don't worry.
Should we call out Hoobastank?
I'm going to tag him.
Start
Not-
feud.
Yeah,
Every
at
day.
Hooba stank.
Yeah. This week, guys, I talked to Hoobastank. I mean, Bouquet. Oh, man, Bailey. We'll get you a name here by the end.
I am. I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is. You know?
All right. Hey, he's good with it. All right.
He loves the Stank.
Love the stick.
I
See, with
well,
the
actually,
one in
something
the-
that I think about a lot with Bailey. So, his first song with us is the title track off the new EP, "Feeling Color." He's not on the other tracks because we worked with Brandon from Hot Mulligan on those before Bailey was in the band. But what Bailey has done to those songs live, you know, when he
Mhm.
plays them with us, the ones that we've been playing live anyway, he does add his own spice, his own flavor to it, his own stank, I should say. And it's cool because one of the first things that I noticed about Bailey when we first played a show with him when he was filling in for our friends in Clementine, is that like he hits hard, and that's like one of the like big things that I like in a band where they just have like the power and the force behind what they're doing, and I think that's really important for our sound.
Yeah.
So when we were looking for a new drummer, he was like the first one that I thought of.
Nice. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
So
this.
this new stuff live, he adds his own flavor to it for sure.
Yeah, and he can do stick flips, so that's why I said he should be in a band.
Bro, that's as good as
Nick did say that
Technics.
in the group chat.
Never even heard him play drums, so saw him do that. One of those bad boys.
Man didn't even come down with that stick flip. He just held it. That was it.
Oh,
It was frozen in time.
Yeah. See, Jared heard him hit. You saw it. It's frozen here. Jared's here, you know?
It's the perfect combo.
It is, honestly. So outside of you three, there's Elijah, and is there one more or
Max.
Max? Okay, got it. I knew there were other members not on the call at the moment. So drums, guitar, vocals, bass, and
Guitar.
Yeah,
Also,
Elijah.
yeah.
Yeah, Elijah's guitar, Max's bass.
nice. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to them, obviously, for not showing up. Like, come on.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
No, that's
What
cool.
do you have? I go to college. I have a job. Grow up, dude. Straight up.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Oh my god, I can't even.
Several are saying this.
Yeah, I've seen it on social media already. Honestly, yeah, we're live streaming. Yeah, okay, yep, yeah, I know, assholes. Chat is all about it. We're cooked, chat. So it's always interesting to ask people, and obviously, you guys come from different, I guess, genres in previous projects. Does it, I guess, what genre now do you guys classify yourselves as? Because it's always a sticky, like, what is a genre? Is this post-hardcore? Is this emo? Is this rock? Is this,
If I had a random like Gen X or like baby boomer come up to me and ask me what genre my band is, I always say alternative because that's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
But people who are a bit more like, you know, experienced with our flavor of music, like post-hardcore, post-rock, like kind of emo adjacent type stuff. But I don't think it's really hard to put one thing on it.
Yeah, I usually say melodic hardcore.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
People don't always know what that means, but I feel like it kind of encompasses our sound.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's like I usually go, I try to assume that, like, if I'm talking to somebody, that they have no clue, like, what I'm talking about. So, like, I kind of do what Jared does, where it's like, if my aunt heard this, like, what would I tell her? But yeah, I'd agree with Bailey. Like, we're kind of in that realm, or like the post-hardcore, which is another just super vague, like, kind of
It's a
hard
big
because,
umbrella
like,
thing.
Yeah,
we take a lot of the ambience and like the vibe from post rock, and then we kind of drop it into like heavier shit.
right.
Yeah.
So it's a unique blend, I think, but I don't know. I guess, like, what would you describe Casey as? Because that's like I think our closest
That's true.
relation.
That's what album too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what would I describe Casey as? Probably
Like, it's post-hardcore, basically.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, yes.
True.
Good.
Melodic hardcore is also a really good label for that too.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There's a YouTuber, actually, I forgot the name, but they did like a little kind of history of I think it was melodic hardcore, and talked about like how much it's changed also from just like the history of coming out of like hardcore, and then sometime like the early to mid 2010s, they literally had a section about Dreambound, and they're like, all right, this is where it all changed. And then,
Shout out
so, which is
Dreambound,
hilarious.
bro.
Shout out Dreambound. But like,
All right, Hoobastank and Dreambound, tag him. Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But
Dreambound's great.
yeah, I feel like whatever you want to call us, as long as if you like it, that's cool.
As long as you don't say
Whatever you want to call us.
they stink, you know?
German industrial.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, let's do it. That's what's going on.
There was a review somebody called us metalcore, and I was like, I don't know if I was just listening to like Chamber, and I'm like, yeah, we don't sound like this, but hell yeah, cool, thanks. They liked it.
We're like the ambient sections of a Counterpart song, if that's all it was, plus some other stuff.
That sounds about right. Like completely polar opposite from End, just ambient counterparts.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Like Decay by Counterparts. Do you guys know that one?
Yep.
Off of Prince. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like if Job for a Cowboy was a different band entirely.
It's
We're
funny.
like Cycle Frame, but totally different.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're like clowncore, but not in an outhouse.
Yeah, I was told once I sound like if Mike Sugars was not him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
True.
Real. Yeah.
Mike Sugars is him, though.
He is him.
He is. Yeah.
That man has a dog named Halo 3.
Sweetest little
That's
baby
my
pit I've
goat.
ever seen. Yeah. Like, he's writing songs with the title of, like, Straight Jacket Afterbirth, and then he has this adorable little
Halo
puppy.
3. Yeah.
Halo 3. Incredible.
Oh, man. I love musicians, man. It's just some smattering of just fun hobbies and music.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of obviously getting into you. Well, I don't want to assume, but you probably have been working on some type of like release campaign and push and social media and the clicks, and obviously you've been getting comments and messages, which is fantastic. You already have kind of a dedicated base, but like when you attack kind of the mountain of how do you sell, how do you promote, how do you kind of like push your music, is there like I guess tell me how that goes a little bit, because it's such a mountain to attack. Where does a band like yourselves start in that realm? Like, obviously, posting to every platform is excruciating at times, and that whole grind.
Hmm.
So I think with Cardinal, we kind of let it sort of speak for itself.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, we're not really like content brained at all. We have things that we've been kind of slowly working on and chipping away at, mostly ideas, but we're not the type of band to like, spam on TikTok or anything like that. No shade against anybody who does that, but
Yeah.
we're not on that type of grind. So when it comes to promoting this, I mean, there's actually not going to be a lot of promotion involved initially. I think what we'll probably do after is try to push some forms of content that makes sense to us.
Yeah.
We've talked about being dumb on camera and doing bits or whatever, or we've talked about doing vocal or guitar or drum playthroughs.
Yep.
Stuff along the lines of that. Like, and then I think the biggest thing for me anyway is like touring on it and getting it in front of people.
I think that's kind of our big goal, like, is to get out more, as much as possible.
Yeah.
We kind of got lucky with Cardinal, and that, like, like Jared said, we literally just put it out, and people were like, "Yo, this is an axe,"
Yeah.
That's what our goal was. But
this is kind of stank,
no,
bro.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was kind of, we had the advantage of just like building off of that.
Yeah.
So I think we're trying to learn how to be more active on social media. It's a thing we talk about a lot, and I'm sure we'll talk about like after this call in our meeting also.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know, it's kind of a weird mix, because like we tried to put more money and kind of like promotion into the 2 singles we did previously, like, which helped. But sometimes, I don't know, it's kind of nice to just put it out and just let it be digested.
Well, from
if
my
people like it, they'll share it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let it do its own marketing, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is advice to any young band is, don't ever post. Don't share it. Don't.
Just gotta, I mean, honestly, just only release it on Bandcamp. That's it.
What I'm saying.
Don't even,
Don't.
not even Spotify.
Don't play shows.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's very bad. Yeah. Such an antithesis of where anything about this podcast is. I love that.
No.
All right, you guys are axed. Done. Great show.
I think,
No,
I think
it is kind of like. Well, go ahead, Jared.
Well, I was just gonna say somewhere in between, the two extremes of being the band that posts a lot, on TikTok to try to get their stuff out there, versus the band that does nothing and just kind of hopes for the best. Like, we want to try to like promote it in a way that feels true to ourselves. I think that's the most important part. Like, I don't feel like I'm the type to, try to do the grind of finding a snippet of the song and standing in front of my camera, like, type of thing. Like, that doesn't feel right to me. And again, no shade for anybody who does that, but it's just like, that doesn't feel like my type of thing.
I get it completely. I mean, with I had Dear Untitled radio for a little bit, and it's just I went ham trying to like clip interview pieces and segment this and do teasers and all this, and it's like, man,
it's very effective, but it's a grind.
It is a grind. Yeah.
And I just don't feel like that's I don't feel like we I don't feel like that's sustainable for us, I guess.
Yeah. No, and that makes complete sense in my head, because I know exactly, like, I started this back up with the specific like thought in my head of like, if I have the time and the extra energy outside of editing and getting this out, yes, I'm going to push it, because I like pushing my friends, but really I'd rather take 100%. That time of like editing like this video or this conversation, and I'd rather write you an article for your EP, or like I'd rather dedicate it to something else that will go out rather than like, yeah, here's 15 seconds that someone's going to watch and not really engage and not even help you necessarily. It just promotes something, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like, in my opinion, if there's something to latch onto, I don't think there's any really bad way of doing it. Whether it's posting a clip of it on TikTok or you know just throwing the song out there and see if it sticks. Because if it resonates with somebody, like truly resonates, like Cardinal did for some people, hopefully it speaks for itself to a certain extent. But also that's not necessarily sustainable either. So
Yeah.
finding a middle ground is important.
Yeah, definitely don't take my advice that I said earlier. That was a bit.
Well, of course it was a bit. This whole show's a bit. I mean, I just,
None of this is real, Nick.
I will say though, to add on to it, like there's, I think, but at least like from my end, with like what we talk about and stuff in our music, it would be for me personally, like, and I've talked with them about this too, but like it would be a little uncomfortable for me to try and like force um to be this like character
Yeah.
when so much of like my enjoyment from the band comes with like expressing myself. So taking forcing myself to do something is like counteracts the enjoyment at a certain point. Like obviously there's a certain amount of like I'll get over it and shut up and whatever, promote our album.
I think
but
in
like
today's landscape, it's important to just be like, okay, I gotta do some of this. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I know for me, I've had them post more on social media and stuff like that too, just because like I have a pretty well documented history of not being well, and that's more important to me now than like I think I let myself in previous bands. I would kind of just keep going and like never stop, and I think I have boundaries now, so
Boundaries showed up.
fine. Yeah, shout out. But yeah, it's just kind of finding the balance. Also, yeah, just be in a band with people that like want the same thing and are willing to pick up some of your slack, like when you can't. So
yeah,
yeah, we all have the same goals.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that collective is just, hey, let's make music because we enjoy making music. I mean, I've told that to people for a long time of whatever it is that you're doing, if you don't enjoy what you're doing and you feel that it's a job, you start to burn out quickly because you're like, man, this could be fun as full time, but like, I just want to create. And creation, I feel like, is, it's the old saying of like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I'm sure it's that way for just kind of generating content like this of music of that's just a weird creative bone that I wish I had.
I think a lot of what goes on behind the scenes is work, and it's like stuff where I wish I could just be sitting and playing the guitar and writing a song and stuff, but a lot of it is just like putting on a little bit of friggin' elbow grease and going at something. Like we're gonna have a meeting after this to probably talk about plans and merch and bidness stuff, and that's just it's not like the most exciting conversations to have, but it's like it's important.
Yeah.
Also, I know Jared and I've talked about this, but there's like a lot of things too that feel like tasks, and you'll kind of like be like, oh man, I got to do this, and then when you're in it, you're like, oh yeah, this is fine.
Right.
So I think that's another thing too. That's just like all of us work, like full-time jobs and stuff. So it's definitely hard some days to be like, want to put more energy into it. But it's also like once I'm in it, then I'm like, oh yeah, this shit rocks. So
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess any last things you want to share, plug, push.
Yeah. So
He's got it.
wherever you're seeing this, Feel in Color drops May 23rd. Stream it wherever you listen to music. Also, this July, we're going on tour with our friends Daisy Head
Nice. Yes.
and supporting their 10-year tour. So that is the farthest we've gone out as a band. So if we're coming to a city, please come.
Nashville at some point. Last
Yeah,
show
I
of
think
that
that's
The
tour.
last day of the tour.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have to double check my schedule because I think I'm out for a week on vacation in July. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to
Hell yeah.
a couple hours for me, but like, hey, look, as I say, if someone's coming within a couple hours of me and has traveled a substantial distance to get here, I respect it and I try to,
Yeah.
return the
You're
favor.
a real one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think our
Well,
first show, somebody came from like Indiana or something like that. That was crazy.
nerds.
Mhm.
God, who does that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's again. I talk about like how freaking spoiled I was up in Philly. It's just like I could, hop in a Uber and be like down at the venue in 15 minutes, and here it's like, oh shit, I gotta go to Nashville, Cincy, or Indianapolis. Like
Dude,
what is this market?
it's one of my favorite things seeing like friends who grew up in like the East Coast or like Chicago or something, because
Yeah.
so many of them are just like, oh man, dude, I gotta drive like a half an hour to go to this venue, one of 37 venues in town. And I'm just like, bro, there is not a venue within a half an hour of me. Like I do. So it's just two
I
very
drive
different like
3 times
existences.
at like the play music, brother.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That'll be fun. That'll be good. So tour this summer, new music in May.
Excellency Fest in August.
Yep.
Nice.
And also, well, I guess it's announced tomorrow, so we could say it. But we're also playing with Hot Mulligan June 9th at Gabe's in Iowa City.
Hell yeah. That's
that'll be
exciting.
fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a good show. Okay. Well, thank you. This has been fun, and let's do it again.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for
Yeah.
having us. It's good to like
Thank you. This was fun.
actually see you and
I
talk
know.
to you.
Dude, it's been a long time, brother.
Talk to you later, dude.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks.
I want to extend a huge thank you to Bailey, Jared, and Nick for taking time out of their evening to hop on a call and let me pick their brain about what goes on in their music, as well as some details regarding their new EP, Feel in Color, dropping on April 23rd, 2025. And if you were listening close, details about even new music beyond that. But don't say anything. Just enjoy the new EP, and more is in the pipeline. We're excited. These guys have been very, very busy writing. You can find all the information about Bouquet in the bio on Dear Untitled's website or in the description of the episode in the platform you're hearing us on. Go check this band out and show them some love. Tell them Dear Untitled sent you too. If you liked what you see on the channel, as always, a like, a comment, a follow on your platform of choice helps a ton. I read comments and reviews on all platforms from fans, Spotify, YouTube, and socials. So if you have anything else you want to add about the podcast, say about the podcast, or ask the artist even, sound off. As always, we appreciate you being here. Until next time, this is your host, Nick Beardsley, saying stay safe and keep rocking.